Taken to hospital for stabilization because they continued to resist eating, to feed the victim of this horrible crime with a lot of resistance, but because they had already been weakened significantly to succumb last evening. And therefore, the total number of deaths so far is 241, including the 5 skeletons recovered after the exhumation exercise was suspended last week, and also that one victim who has died in hospital in the circumstances in which I've explained. We have been able to rescue 91 persons. Of course, now one of them has died. We have been able to take DNA samples from 93 cases. We have been able to reunite 19 victims with their families, and we have been able to arrest 34 persons until now. I would like to make the following further announcements. That unfortunately, we have evidence of more graves in Shakahola forest. And therefore, the suspension that took place on Thursday of the exhumation exercise is meant to allow this sure that we are able to free this hospital mortuary because it is of limited capacity, and there are other deaths. Therefore, we would like to free the facility, transfer the bodies to a temporary morgue, which has been provided. It is sad, but that is the position. We will go back. And as I promised last time I was here, the government of Kenya, that the government will not hide any information concerning anything about how long it will take this process that we are officiating the commencement today of phase 2. In the usual manner, the teams are the same. This exercise will be led by the Chief Government Pathologist, Dr. Johansen Oduor, who will be giving daily 5 p.m. Therefore, those updates will continue to be available, but the other teams are here, the forensics teams are here, government chemist is here, DCI, the Director of Home. Rescue mission has never been interrupted. In fact, we want to even upscale it a little. We believe, other than the additional graves that we have evidence and we have data showing that there are more graves there, we also believe there are more people escape from both the Mackenzie land, the so-called Mackenzie land, and also from Chakama Ranch generally. And we have been able to intercept some, rescued them as they headed to other areas, including the Galana Kulalo area and the Tsavo East National Park. Scale the search and rescue mission to extend to new areas. And number two, we will also be upscaling the rescue mission in terms of the use of technology. We'll also comb the entire land and make sure every inch, every meter, every kilometer is accounted for and is cleared in terms of search. Devices that we are using, and we have also brought on board the Director of Survey of the Republic of Kenya, who is here with us and will be going with us to the forest. From that area, every millimeter of that forest and ranch will be searched, and we will rescue anybody there, whether they are alive. We believe, much more than before, that the offenses committed humanity. We and our institutions that are responsible for the criminal justice system are with the investigations. We have made tremendous progress. We have been able to arrest more people. You can see the number is growing. And that in order for us to establish with accuracy the responsibility for these crimes, because if the Director of Public Prosecutions will be looking at charging these perpetrators is what happened all over the world. Those who know history and who have followed proceedings of international criminal including radicalization, which is in the border of terror. So we don't know what the courts will say, but on the other hand, cases on all the suspects we take to court to charge them not with frivolous or third, fourth, fifth level types of offenses, because from that level and other forms of lesser offenses, the criminal justice system can still pursue those in the course of time. So for the patriotic patience of every Kenyan, because it's one thing to rush and charge somebody in court, is another one to sustain a conviction, especially for serious will be pushing as government for extremely broad accountability. Whose omission or commission led us to this horrible local community, because we are engaged in this thing for the long term. I want to applaud the political leaders especially, which is to make sure two things. One, a political matter, there are very many things we can politicize. This is not one of them. And nobody will be allowed to trivialize and politicize this matter. And I say so because in the past there have been attempts to access the scene of crime, which were the headquarters of crime for Mr. MATIANG'I. Extended accordingly. I think we have so many long-term measures that we'll be announcing in the course of time. Bodies from there. So we'll also be announcing other long-term measures, because a crime like this needs to be remembered for hundreds of years. All organs of national security without exception, every organ of Kenya's internal security will be reorganized, revitalized as a way of on the soil, on the land of our country. And finally, I would like to announce that the tracing and has not been interrupted. And all persons who have loved ones who are missing, not necessarily connected to this incident, but we better take on board every report of missing persons and try and trace them. That process is continuing. I am informed by the experts led by the chief government pathologist that this exercise might take some time, but they will try and expedite. They are working very hard, and will make sure. Senior Assistant General, Inspector General Peter Ndungu, kuna Abdalla Komesha ambaye pia anasimamia the entire criminal investigations. Mambo ya kushtua na ni mambo ambayo yatageuza vile tunafanya shughuli zetu kama muda kidogo, kwa sababu makosa ambayo yamefanyika hapa kulingana na ushahidi ambao tumepata tayari ni makosa ambayo yako katika kiwango cha kuliwa hatua, na sio hatua ya kuhamishwa, sio hatua hata ya kufutwa kazi.